Toyota LandCruiser Prado 2025. A transformation after 15 years of waiting. After a long wait, Toyota has finally introduced the all-new 2025 LandCruiser Prado, an iconic off-road SUV with significant upgrades. The previous generation had been on the market since 2009. And with this new version, Toyota promises a more powerful driving experience, advanced technology, and superior off-road capability. In Australia, where demand for off-road vehicles remains high, the 2025 Prado has quickly captured the attention of many enthusiasts. This model not only receives upgrades in design and technology but also enhances performance with a 48-volt diesel hybrid engine, improving fuel efficiency and ensuring a smoother ride. However, the significant price increase compared to the previous generation is also a factor that many potential buyers must consider. So, does the 2025 Toyota LandCruiser Prado live up to its legacy? Are these upgrades enough to maintain Prado's position in the 4x4 SUV segment? Let's dive into the details in the following review. After 15 long years, a new generation Toyota LandCruiser Prado has roared onto Australian shores, and it's raising plenty of eyebrows. The new Prado, or LandCruiser 250 series, is a four-wheel drive family SUV that we've tested on local turf. Tackling technical off-road trails, cruising for hundreds of kilometers on road and undergoing the daily grind. So after living with it, driving it, and pushing it to its limits, the verdict is in, and while on balance Toyota has engineered a thoroughly impressive 4x4. Its report card has a couple of blemishes you should know about. How much does the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude cost? This review focuses on the 2025 Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude, the off-road star of the new LandCruiser 250 series lineup. With chunky all-terrain tires and clever off-road tech, it's priced at $92,700 plus on-road costs are around $101 drive away. Not exactly pocket change. The LandCruiser 250 series, as it's called in the USA, offers 5 model grades in Australia, starting at $72,500 plus ORC for the GX and stretching to $99,900 plus ORC for the Kakadu. Toyota expects the mid-spec GXL, $79,990 plus ORC, to dominate sales, accounting for half of all Prado orders. For a full price breakdown, check out our 2024 Toyota Prado pricing story. Demand for the new Prado is sky-high, with pre-orders already smashing records. Impressive, given it's about $10 pricier than its predecessor and considerably more expensive than rivals like the Isuzu Mu X, $47,400, and Ford Everest, $54,250. As for warranty provisions, Toyota's 5-year, unlimited kilometer warranty feels ordinary these days, with competitors offering up to 10 years of coverage. After-sales support isn't helped by short service intervals, either. 10.000 kilometers or 6 months, capped at $390 per visit for the first 10 services. That's almost $800 annually. Toyota's take is that Prados are built for tough conditions, so they need the extra attention. What equipment comes with the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude? The 2025 Toyota Prado Altitude is based on the VX model grade but pitched at buyers who want to take the path less traveled. So it gets a few unique extras, including Toyo Open Country all-terrain tires on 18-inch rims, 265/70ths R18s all-round, in lieu of 20-inch alloys. A front sway bar with disconnect system said to improve front suspension travel by 10%. And a locking rear differential in addition to the center locking diff that's standard across the Prado range. That said, this mud-slinging maestro loses the AVS, adaptive variable suspension, found on VX and Kakadu models. The Altitude is strictly a 5-seater, ditching the VX's third-seat row to liberate more cargo room, but adds a few more bits and bobs over its donor car, like a very handy digital rear-view mirror and head-up display, plus a large sunroof and a heated steering wheel. Other standard features include powered, heated and cooled front seats, powered tailgate, powered steering wheel adjustment, twin 12.3-inch digital screens, a 14-speaker JBL audio system, LED headlights and taillights, and a drinks chiller box up front. The Toyota Prado Altitude is also the only variant available with a retro two-tone exterior paint job, which adds $1,675 for the contrasting roof and either Ningaloo Blue or Tanami Taupe. Expensive, yes, but then we encountered so much rubbernecking we had to double-check we weren't driving a Bentley. People really do stop and stare. Premium paint without the two-tone setup costs $675, while standard paint leaves you with a choice of either black or white. How safe is the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude? The 2025 Toyota Prado has been awarded a 5-star safety rating from ANCAP. The safety features list starts with 9 airbags as standard, plus adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring and autonomous emergency braking, AEB. It's also big and heavy, measuring almost 5 meters long and weighing around 2.5 tons. While the body structure is now 30% stiffer and the chassis is 50% stiffer, which should all serve the Prado well in the event of an accident. What technology does the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude feature? If the 2025 Toyota Prado's rugged exterior hints at its modern makeover, the interior confirms it with upgrades spanning dual 12.3-inch digital displays, a wireless phone charger and 3 fast USB-C ports in the front. The large central touchscreen supports both wireless and wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and includes GPS Sat-Nav for off-grid adventures and even an HDMI port. The display is crystal clear with fast touch response, but its clunky menu system and lack of a home screen can frustrate. The digital driver display offers plenty of info, fuel economy, hybrid data, and off-road stats, but again, menu navigation via the steering wheel controls isn't always user-friendly. The parking cameras, however, are excellent. A sharp 360-degree overhead view is paired with multiple front and rear angles, helping you navigate tight spaces with confidence. Proximity sensors add another layer of reassurance. For $100,000 you expect a lot of fruit, and you get it. Highlights like the head-up display and remote vehicle controls via Toyota's Connected Services app stand out. The app lets you remotely start the engine, unlock doors, or fire up the aircon. It also includes stolen vehicle tracking and automatic SOS emergency calls in the event of a crash. All up, the Prado's interior tech does plenty to justify its price tag, blending convenience, safety, and clever touches that make everyday driving easier. What powers the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude? The new Prado is powered by the same 2.8-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel found in its predecessor, with a mild twist. The 2025 Toyota Prado adds a mild hybrid system similar to that bequeathed to the Helix in mid-2024, which Toyota insists improves smoothness, drivability and fuel efficiency. The verdict? It's a better diesel and it delivers on these promises, mildly. But it's far from revolutionary, although the new 8-speed automatic transmission is significantly more refined and responsive. In the USA, customers are offered a 2.4-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol hybrid powertrain, which is currently available in Australia in the Lexus RX 500h. In the Toyota LC250 it generates a spicy 243 kilowatts, 630 Newton-meters. However, a lower towing capacity, just under 2,800 kilograms, and the considerable pricing bump have ruled it out for Australia. For now. So, Aussie Toyota Prados get 48-volt mild hybrid tech added to Toyota's tried and tested, and somewhat notorious, 1GDF-TV turbo diesel mill, which adds a belt-driven motor generator. A compact 48 volts lithium-ion battery along with a DC to DC converter are also added and the engine spins the belt-driven motor generator, which can charge the battery. Braking and deceleration can also chip in. Once the battery has sufficient charge the motor generator can push out an extra 8.5 kilowatts and 65 Newton-meters. Designed to assist low-speed acceleration. In practice it delivers a slight lift in low-speed response and acceleration, something we can vouch for because we had the misfortune to drive it without the hybrid system due to a malfunction. More on that later. The new setup also allows you to run 12 volts accessories and there's a conventional household, 3-pin, power point in the boot. Toyota hasn't raised overall power and torque figures from the non-mild hybrid model. However, so the official figure is still 150 kilowatts, at 3,000 to 3,400 revolutions per minute, and 500 newton meters, at 1,600 to 2,800 revolutions per minute. One thing that has changed is brake towing capacity, which is now up to a class-appropriate 3,500 kilograms. That's a 500 kilograms lift, matching rivals like the Ford Everest. That said, the devil's in the detail. The Prado is not quite a heavy hauler. In fact, because the Prado is so heavy now, a GCM of 6,600 kilograms means you'll have only 230 kilograms of payload to spare when towing a trailer at the 3,500 kilograms maximum limit. Nonetheless, the engine is quieter than before and the cabin is quiet in general, impressive given the chunky tires and upright windscreen. But it's the new 8-speed auto that shines brightest when it comes to the powertrain, delivering crisper, cleaner shifts than its 6-speed predecessor, while improving acceleration and its ability to hustle both from a standstill and when overtaking. Every Prado sold in Australia comes with a dual-range transfer case, enabling high, for regular driving, and low, for off-roading, ratio gearing. It's a full-time 4x4 driveline with a torsion locking center diff and, in this altitude variant, a locking rear diff too. Both are activated at the touch of a button. There's also half a dozen off-road modes, sand, mud etc., along with a hill descent control system, all of which are very effective. See the off-road section below or the Car Sales YouTube channel for more details. How fuel efficient is the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude? The new 2025 Toyota Prado's 48 volts mild hybrid tech is claimed to improve fuel economy, and although we couldn't match Toyota's fuel consumption claim of 7.6 L, 100 kilometers, we're not unhappy with a final figure of 10.2 L, 100 kilometers. This is because A, the car is heavy, with a curb weight of 2,520 kilograms, and B, this test included plenty of urban driving and significant off-roading, the latter being omitted from Toyota's fuel economy testing. There's definitely a strong case to suggest the hybrid system lowers fuel consumption, an aspect also aided around town by a new idle stop system that turns off the engine when stationary. But fuel capacity has dropped from 150 liters to 110. And with the spare wheel now sitting under the car, thanks to the split tailgate, adding a second aftermarket tank isn't going to be easy. That 40L discrepancy means long-distance touring isn't as good, translating to roughly 400 kilometers less range. What is the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude like to drive? When the rubber hits the road, it's manifestly clear the 2025 Toyota Prado is a big step forward, as you'd hope given the 15-year tenure of the previous generation. The latest Prado feels more stable and composed on the open road, and its handling dynamics have been significantly improved, making it far more confident and stable when tackling corners. Despite the improvements to body control, comfort remains a standout quality. Its compliant suspension setup smooths out rough road, and while there's a bit of frame shake over pitter-patter bumps, for the most part this new Prado is one smooth operator. The new electric power steering is another step forward. The Prado feels far smaller and more manageable than it looks. The direct steering not only improves city driving but also makes parking a breeze, especially with the help of its excellent camera system. Although it's a big rig, measuring 4,990 millimeters from bumper to bumper, the Prado is just as easy to maneuver through tight shopping centers and busy streets as it is cruising on country B roads at 100 clicks. After spending a week with it, I am genuinely surprised by how easy it is to live with. Loading up the kids, chucking all the gear into the boot and just heading off is a breeze. Even my wife, who usually steers clear of big 4x4s, got behind the wheel and found it surprisingly easy to drive. That says a lot. On the open road, the Prado's ride quality remains comfortable. The suspension tuning strikes a great balance between comfort and composure, so while you'll still feel the occasional ladder frame jiggle on rougher surfaces, the overall ride is very controlled. Outward vision is excellent thanks to the high driving position and large, flat windows that provide commanding lines of sight. It's also very quiet inside at most speeds. Even on the freeway, The Toyo all-terrain tires emit only a faint hum in the background. The ease of driving is matched by the Prado's slightly more refined diesel engine and far more refined 8-speed automatic. Together, they deliver smooth, responsive performance that render this Prado far better in urban environs than its predecessor. Toyota has nailed the balance between comfort and capability. With its updated double wishbone front and 4-link solid rear axle suspension delivering better cornering confidence while preserving its signature ride quality. To sum up, the new Prado drives way better than its forebear. How good is the Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude off-road? To cut a long story short, the 2025 Toyota Prado Altitude is an off-road weapon. Let's start with high-speed gravel road driving, where the new Prado is predictable and stable, traversing potholes without much kickback through the suspension. On more challenging off-road trails, the old Prado was always a capable 4x4. But this fourth-generation effort has seriously upped its game. Right from the start, it feels confident and composed on rough terrain. For such a big rig, it's surprisingly easy to position the vehicle and on uneven ground and up steeper climbs. Traction isn't an issue. The Toyo Open Country hiking boots' deeper tread patterns find grip where it counts, and Toyota's claim of 10% more wheel travel seems to check out. The articulation is seriously impressive, handling some pretty extreme cross-axle situations without fuss. Despite the decoupling front sway bar, said to improve front axle suspension travel by another 10%. It's rear axle articulation that really impresses. Check out our video review for evidence. In this regard, the suspension does a great job keeping the wheels connected to the ground, maintaining consistent traction, and when a wheel does lose grip, the full-time 4x4 system kicks in quickly, shuffling power to where it's needed. The diesel engine proves its worth off-road too, pulling predictably and strongly at low revs and making steep climbs feel easy. Throttle modulation is nice and easy, and the 8-speed auto feels more decisive off-road than its predecessor. While light, direct steering at low speeds works well on tricky terrain. Hill descent control? Much improved, with operation that is not just smooth and controlled but now quiet too. It used to sound like firecrackers going off underneath the car. You can adjust speed in 1 km/h increments via the drive mode dial. And if you want to go even slower, there's a crawl mode that's ideal for those gnarly sections where precision is everything. When push comes to shove, and on trails that have stumped many other vehicles, including 4x4 dual-cab utes, the Prado came up trumps. Sure, we had to flick it into rock mode, which tweaks traction and stability controls. But golly gee, it did well. The electronics cast a magic spell on the 4x4 system, and only the most challenging sections required a locked center diff and a decoupled front sway bar. Not once did we engage the rear locker, and the Prado had no issues with wheel articulation or ground clearance thanks to its 221mm ride height. Save for just one minor scrape on the side steps. On top of that, it's all so smooth and refined and self-assured. Toyota's engineers have done an exceptional job making all the off-road controls and systems engage smoothly and seamlessly. But we ran into a snag just after wrapping up the off-road testing. Heading home from our dusty stomping ground, the hybrid system had a tantrum. An error message popped up, 48V system malfunction. I figured the classic, switch it off and on again trick would sort it out, and for a while it seemed fine. After the 60 kilometers drive home there were no issues. Then a trip to the shops the next day. No drama, but the return drive from the supermarket did not happen. The Prado died, appearing to lose all voltage, albeit slowly. It wouldn't start initially, but all the electrics worked. Then the whole shebang went dark. Roadside assistance tested the battery and then called a tow truck after discovering the alternator was not holding charge. After running diagnostics at a nearby dealership a day later, Toyota Australia came back with an explanation. Water infiltrated the air filter, which messed up the 48 volts motor generator and the alternator for the 12 volts battery, thus causing the malfunction. How did this happen? That's still a bit of a mystery, especially since we test all our 4x4s in the same place in similar conditions. And when water gets ingested, the engine usually seizes, which didn't occur. The Prado has a claimed wading depth of 700mm and the powertrain should be sealed up tight. And there's no doubt Toyota put this thing through the ringer during testing and development, much of it in Australia. Maybe there's a small crack or leak somewhere we didn't spot? We've asked Toyota for more details. If we hear back, we'll post an update. But perhaps the moral of the story is to get a snorkel if you plan on getting it wet. What is the Toyota LandCruiser Prado like inside? It's nice inside, comfortable and just a little bit luxurious, as you'd expect when you're dropping 100 large on a new SUV. But the 2025 Toyota Prado's interior is not perfect, far from it. The dual 12.3-inch digital screens up front finally give the Prado a modern vibe. And you can tell Toyota really put some effort into making this cabin functional and robust. The square, upright windows and high driving position are great. And there's also heaps of space. The cabin feels big, open, and airy. Everything from the chunky air vents to the grab handles feels solid. Like they're designed to last. Reassuring. I do have one gripe, though: the carpet mats. They're nice and plush, but let's be real, they're going to get filthy on day one of any off-road trip. Give me the rubber mats from the base model Prado any day. The power-adjustable leather-accented seats are broad and supportive. Add a power-adjustable steering wheel, which feels a bit posh, and it's an easy car to get comfortable in. Front seat heating and cooling are in there too, as is 3-zone climate control and a big power-operated sunroof. Storage, however, is a bit underwhelming. There are some spring-loaded cup holders up front, but the door pockets and glove box are tiny. There's also no sunglasses holder, and the wireless phone charger takes up a big chunk of space in the center console. The fridge box in the armrest is cool, literally, but again, it sacrifices storage. For a car this size, I expected a bit more. Jumping into the back seats, there's a lot to like, but a few quirks. 2. Headroom is okay, not amazing, and legroom is decent, though nothing groundbreaking. The leather quality is great. Much like the supple front seats, and passengers get some handy features. Air vents up top, love that. USB-C ports, a 12-volt socket, seat back pockets, and small bottle holders in the doors. Now, let's talk about the boot, and this is where the Prado has copped a bit of a shellacking. Sure, the split vertically opening tailgate is a highlight. The top glass section opens quickly, easily and separately of the main tailgate, but the cargo space feels compromised. The floor is raised higher than you'd expect, thanks to Toyota accommodating the larger hybrid battery pack used in the US models. And even though that's not relevant to Aussie versions, we're stuck with the same setup. If you opt for the 7-seat version, it's even worse, and Toyota says fixes for these issues are years away. Still, the boot does have redeeming features: fantastic LED down lights, tie-down points, a 220 volts power socket, and some clever underfloor storage for your tools and other bits. The new Prado's interior is a big step forward in many ways. It's modern, robust, and packed with tech, but there are compromises that might frustrate some buyers. Should I buy a Toyota LandCruiser Prado Altitude? Despite the hybrid gremlins we encountered, the smaller fuel tank, the compromises in the boot, the high asking price and twice yearly service intervals, the Prado still feels like a solid product. It's not quite up to the standards we expect from Toyota products nowadays, especially ones that cost this much. And whether this vehicle is $10 better than its predecessor will be hotly debated among the Toyota faithful, as will how it squares up against rivals like the Isuzu Mu-X and Ford Everest. But beyond the freak water ingress issue, Toyota has absolutely improved the Prado's mechanicals, and the driving experience makes up for most of the above issues. And once you hit the trails, those little quirks start to matter a whole lot less. The 2025 Toyota LandCruiser Prado is a comprehensive upgrade over its predecessor, offering significant improvements in design, technology, and performance, with a more robust chassis, a fuel-efficient hybrid engine, and a suite of advanced driver assistance technologies. The Prado not only maintains its reputation as a durable SUV but also better meets the demands of modern users. The Altitude variant stands out with its specialized off-road equipment, including a rear differential lock, a disconnecting sway bar, and all-terrain tires. However, the high price, shorter service intervals, and reduced fuel tank capacity are factors to consider. If you're looking for a versatile SUV that delivers smooth performance on highways while remaining powerful enough to tackle tough terrains, the 2025 Prado is a compelling option. That said, with a price approaching $100, it's essential to clearly assess your needs before making the investment in this model.